people start off with good intentions.
Oh, yeah.
Then at some point, as they climb through the ranks, like, you know, as they say, power corrupts, or in the case of Spider-Man, you know, I can't remember the quote, but something to the extent, there's a lot of responsibility with power, right? So one of the ways that someone told me, I was like, all right, I always thought I was different, but as I grew older, I was like, I got the same habits as everybody. You know, it was like, how, you know, if I do my job right and Vapexhale takes off, how do I remain the same kind of cool guy that people like today? And someone told me it's try to learn a new skill every year. If you try to learn a new skill every year, it kind of
keeps you humble.
Yeah, it keeps you in that student's mind frame. You're kind of like anxious, uneasy. You're not the best in the room. And they said if you can't learn a new skill, well, just try brushing your teeth with your left hand, or, you know, cooking a dinner with your left hand, and it'll put you in that.
Hard, man.
Yeah,
I broke my wrist like 4 or 5 years ago, and having to do everything left-handed. I just gave up on trying to write. Like, I tried for a while to learn how to write left-handed, then I was like, oh, screw it, it's not happening.
Well, you know what? One thing I really loved about this dab discussion was, and let me start loading up another dab, is that most of the people that come out here, and I'm not going to call them out because they already know who they are, that say they could dab and debate. You know, sometimes it's more like dab and be quiet. And today, I had someone here that I just needed to ask a question, and then you could give me a nice, you know, 5 to 7 minute answer while I could just enjoy listening.
I'm a talker, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. You know, for a reporter, I was like, this guy should be a guest more often. I really enjoyed, you know, hearing your opinions. You're very, you know, like a lot of the things that, like, I know, like surface level stuff of, you know, very deeply in the cannabis industry. And I always respect someone that is, you know, like, as you said, you know, like, there's some growers that, you know, are super into their craft. There's people like myself that, you know, I'm super into my craft. And I believe you to be really into your craft as a journalist, you know, and just the way you're able to recall things and just, like, spit them out in a way where, you know, you're basically speaking as good as, like, a Toastmasters person. It's just, like, very impressive, you know?
I don't know if I mentioned this before coming out here for this, but I was on the speech and debate team in school, so I do have experience with debate. And I mean, there was a point in my life where I thought about going into politics, so being articulate really does matter. I haven't written it off, but right now cannabis is a lot more interesting than politics in the most toxic era I have ever seen.
Yeah. And, you know, okay, I think a good way to end it is, you know, being able to articulate yourself is super important. You know, as a father to 2 young children, I find that when they are most frustrated, it's when they're not able to clearly communicate their wants and needs to me, and I'm kind of like trying to understand what's going on, and then they just start crying because they're little kids, right? And if you kind of extrapolate that out to adults, you know, like often when I see adults have conflict and they get to a point where, like, people aren't understanding them, or they feel like they're not getting through, and they're just like, they turn into little kids again, and they're like, So I always, you know, really encourage people to go to Toastmasters or go to something that will help you be more comfortable articulating yourself in public. You know, I know for me, I mean, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. I've only been to like 3 of these, but you know, I really benefited because it taught me, like, just to
From
be
Toastmasters?
just to be more comfortable with my own voice, not to be so self-conscious. And you know, if you speak from a place of, like, wisdom and knowledge of truth, people will listen to you. It's only when you're bullshitting and shit like that where you kind of feel like, all right, I gotta kind of hide away. So, well, Mitchell, thank you very much. If people want to see more of you, how do they find you?
I'm on Instagram, at Mitchell Colbert. I'm on LinkedIn, all major social media. If you want to read my writing, most of it's coming out in Cannabis Now and Hemp Magazine these days. But I also have written for The Leaf Online, Green Market Report, Alternet. In the alcohol space, I have an ongoing column with ABV Magazine. It's a local Bay Area craft brew magazine where I'm teaching people how to make their own alcohol at home. Last time was limoncello. The next issue is going to be spiced rum. And keep your eyes peeled for even more interesting brews down the road.
Nice. I like it. A guy that writes about cannabis and a guy that writes about alcohol. And I think, you know, a lot of people, and sorry for rambling on here, but, you know, I think there's, like, a lot of people, and I almost think this is, like, the tribal nature of people. Like, are you an alcohol guy or are you a weed guy? You know, it's like, I don't know, can't you
I've
be
always felt
both?
they go together, you know? The term I grew up with was cross-faded. I've always preferred to be cross-faded rather than just one fade or the other fade.
Crossfaded. Nice. Well, That is the artist in you. Mitchell, thank you very much for coming by.
Sabo.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I hope you guys learned a lot. And, we had a really steady stream of comments today. And, you know what? I tried to stay in flow state and not read too many of them and stay connected. But I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. We got a lot more likes and thumbs up than we usually do. So, Mitchell, if you're open to coming back, I would love to have you come back.
Yeah, you pick the topic next time.
I pick the topic next time. All right, we're going to talk about DMT. Do you really see God, or is it just chemical explosions in your brain?
Well, the real question is it God, or is it just a purple dancing hippo?
I have a theory that it actually might be the interstellar spaceship that we have not been imagining. But we'll talk about that next time.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we'll leave you with that.